I'm Mike Armstrong. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at NCARB. Now that all of us are wrestling with what a hybrid environment means, I think we're learning that not everything that happened during the pandemic was negative in terms of how we engage with each other. Also during the past year, as we moved back toward remote work, I think it's maybe underappreciated that our customer relations staff didn't miss a beat. We have the technology that allowed all of our staff to continue answering phone calls, responding to email, dealing with all of our many customers and record holders without delay. And in the midst of all of this, we were able to initiate an expedited transmittal program that is really turning things around at a much faster rate. We've noticed, especially during COVID, that more people wanted an NCARB certificate. There was a greater desire for architects to be mobile and be able to practice in more than one jurisdiction. The fact that our customer relations staff met every challenge, dotted every I, crossed every T, and really didn't delay, and if anything, learned how to expedite, even as they were working largely remotely, is a real tribute to their work ethic and their sense of collaboration, not only with each other, but across departmental boundaries. So we stood up several years ago two new teams, or I like to call them these two new engines, one called continuous improvement and one called innovation. The idea here is to reinforce the concept in our strategic plan of enhance, grow, and transform. There are some elements of our work that just require constant care and feeding, so we're evolving at a good pace. That's continuous improvement. There are other elements that need a wholesale disruption, a new approach that sort of challenges conventional wisdom and forces new conversations. That's innovation. And so we've got two teams now that are facilitating innovative or continuous improvement thinking through embedding themselves within different departments, walking the walk with the subject matter experts, asking the right questions, and shining a light on what might be a possible result of continuous improvement or what might be a possible result of innovation. One of the things we also felt was important was to be open, self-critical, and transparent about the issue of diversity in the profession from our perspective, namely what's happening with people who are taking the exam and then going on to get a license. And for many years, we've been tracking licensure by demographic group, gender, race, and ethnicity. But we had not been talking about exam performance based on those demographic elements. We now had enough data that clearly indicated there was a disturbing trend line regarding the performance of people of color on the exam. And we wanted to call it out because we feel that it's everyone's responsibility, not just NCARB's, to explore why is there such disparity. So we know this is a societal issue, but we also know there's more we can do to remove unconscious bias and impediments along the path to licensure. So I think that was a really watershed moment, not only for us, but for the larger regulatory community, because then we could tell our cohort of regulators across the board, not just in architecture, we all need to talk about this. We all need to be honest about it, and we all need to talk to the testing industry and other experts on what can we do collectively as a regulatory community, because this issue of lack of diversity in a profession is not unique to architects. It's happening in a lot of learned professions, and it's important that we address this issue. I think NCARB is more than just a promulgator of model laws and model regulations. It's more than just the developer of the exam. It is the entity through its collaboration with the licensing boards at the jurisdictional level that promises the public that a licensed architect will protect them and protect their health, safety, and welfare. So we perform a valuable service not only in helping these 55 jurisdictional boards do their best work, We also are offering efficiencies. We're offering extra support. We're trying to position each of these 55 boards for success. We're trying to help them become better known to their public in their individual jurisdictions. So we also have a outreach and a public awareness role to play. We also have a thought leader role to play within the architecture community, questioning why are we doing these things this way? Could we be doing something differently? Whether it's looking at the length of architectural education or looking at other ways to measure competency beyond the traditional 3 E's. We have to introduce these conversations even if they're uncomfortable. It demonstrates that the practice of architecture is an evolving practice. It's not static. So I think we have a lot to offer and a lot to say beyond just the bread and butter things like writing an exam and writing model laws.